What's up guys, Corvus95 here and welcome to episode 1 of my Crusader Kings 2 Let's Play. So in this Let's Play, if you don't know the game, it's a grand strategy from Paradox Interactive. Extremely good. If you want to get a more in depth, I'm going to be going into some depth, but if you want to see it a bit more in depth, a bit more of the basic mechanics, go watch Arumba. He's a great YouTuber who does lots of Paradox games. Go watch his earliest Crusader Kings 2 series. It's very, very good. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And if you enjoy these kind of like 4x games, this isn't really a 4x, but it's a grand strategy, which you'll kind of see what that means later when we get into the game. So basically, this is a feudal simulator in which you play not as a country but as a specific character, and you manage your dynasty. And yeah, so in this one we are going to be playing as King Syneod of Pictland of the House Ulb, and we're going to try and earn the achievement United the Kingdoms. So to get this achievement you have to hold the kingdoms of England, Scotland, Wales and Ireland all at once. So I'm going to have to conquer quite a lot of this land. As you can see, we own Pictland, which is made up of... Well, I'll show you that once we get into the game. So we've got Iron Man mode enabled, we've got all the DLC apart from Sunset Invasion, because it's already going to be a pretty hard challenge just with having to conquer all of Great Britain and Ireland. Never mind having to fight off the Aztecs. Right, so we're going to stick with the default character because you have to in order to get the achievement. And yeah, let's get underway. We're starting from the Charlemagne start date. We'll call it Iron Man Pictland. And let's get underway. Just give the game a second to... Right, so I'm going to read this out for you. In Crusader Kings 2, you play as a succession of medieval rulers from a single dynasty. There is no set goal, but the world is filled with ambitious rivals. Secure more land to increase your power and protect your family. You cannot hold infinite amounts of land yourself. To expand, you will need to rely on vassal rulers. Keep them happy with titles and gifts lest they decide to revolt. The game will end in 1452, if your line can stay in power that long. As a ruler, your first priority is to secure an heir. If you do not have a legitimate heir when your character dies, the game will end. All our pressing matters appear as alerts along the top of the screen, so that's up here. It's a pauseable real-time game. This means you can issue commands both while the game's paused and when the clock's running. To pause or unpause, click it there or just press spacebar. You can't press spacebar when you're in multiplayer. This does have multiplayer support, so I may eventually get around to doing a multiplayer game, but not at the moment. I don't really have anyone I know who plays Crusader Kings. It's probably one of the most discounted games on Steam. It's discounted like every other week. It takes place on a fully 3D map. You can zoom in and out using scroll wheel. You can hold down the scroll wheel to move around. You can reset the map by pressing backspace. I don't think I ever knew that. And I've been playing since the game came out, so... so this is, we are playing as a Pictish Catholic king. Pictish culture trait effects, no special features. Tribes are settled were agrarian. Each county can only have one tribal holding representing the entire local tribal population. The more empty holdings slot, the more powerful the tribal holding. Tribal rulers are limited to elective gavelkind. Succession law, which tends to fragment the realm between sons on the death of the chief. So we can hold tribal and fort holdings without penalties, can build temples, tribal and fort holdings, uses prestige to build tribal holdings, can call tribal government vassals to arms instead of using liege levies, do not get vassal tax from tribal government vassals. Tribal dynasties may grow decadent if the religion also allows it. Rulers can raid infidel neighbours for loot. De jure law effects are ignored. Male rulers can take up to 3 concubines. Can reform to feudal, Icta and merchant republic governments. So we'll probably be going towards feudal because it's very hard to create a merchant republic empire, which is what I'm eventually going to want to do. I'm going to try and form Britannia. Catholicism. I always struggle to pronounce Catholicism. Catholicism is one of the oldest branches of Christianity and one that has had the biggest impact on history of Europe. The formal head of the religion is Bishop Rome, the Pope. Catholic bishops may pay tax to the Pope rather than their secular liege. Catholic rulers can serve anti-popes, the Pope can excommunicate Catholic characters, the Pope can grant divorces, can grant the invasion casus belli, can grant claims on titles, can call for a crusade, rulers can order adult unlanded courtiers to take the vows so they can't inherit anymore. There's always a Pope, landed or not. And yeah, so this first episode's gonna be a lot about the interface, what's going on, just to try and get you understanding what we're going to do. Right, so first of all, up here we have our alerts, as I previously mentioned, so we have 2 titles can be created. I suppose I should go over titles first of all. So, as you can see, we are King Synod II of Pictland. So we have 3 titles. We have the Kingdom of Pictland, which is by de jure, is here. So this is what all this should belong to us. But as you can see, only this bit belongs to us at the minute. And some parts that de jure belong to Norway. We also, that's like a title it's not a landed title, so you need to hold land to be able to hold it, but it in itself doesn't give you any land. Whereas the Chiefdom of Fib is our capital. It's modern day Fife in the surrounding area. As you can see, we have the clan of Fib and also a bishopric here. And then we also own one other title, which is the Chieftain of Uanan, which is Buchan, I believe, Buchanan. So we own the clan here, and there's a bishopric here as well. We also have vassals. We have 3 vassals. So we have the High Chief of Fortriu. So this guy, that's not him. He must own the duchy. So he owns this duchy. He's the High Chief of Fortriu, and as we can see, he only owns this. If we go to direct vassals map mode, this helps out a bit. So directly we control these 2 counties. We also have this giant vassal here who controls all of these counties, not directly, but all of these. Does this guy, are you under him as well? Yeah, so this guy basically controls all of our vassals. Whereas we only have him and the 2 bishops living in these bishoprics. So let's have a look at our family. We have 1 son, Tarlamap Syniod. So he's 25. Actually, I'll go through my traits first. So if you have a look, we have 9 diplomacy, 8 martial, 10 stewardship, 6 intrigue, and 4 learning. So we're pretty well rounded. We have the misguided warrior education trait, which is the lowest. There's the 5 ranks, which are diplomacy, martial, stewardship, intrigue, and learning. And when you're getting educated as a child, you can get either 1 through 4 pips, which are these little stars on these icons. So each one gives you progressively better stats, basically. Misguided warrior, for example, gives me +1 martial. It reduces my learning stat by 1, but gives me +0.5 health and +1 personal combat skill. Trusting, for example, gives me -2 intrigue and +1 diplomacy. Just is a very good trait, +2 stewardship, +1 learning, +5 vassal opinion, +5 same trait opinion, -5 opposite trait opinion. But generally, people who have the opposite trait won't be liked by very many people, just it's a very good trait. We've got patient, another very good trait, intrigue, diplomacy, stewardship and learning all gain +1 defense, which is used for combat modifiers against +20%, and opposite trait opinion, you usually have that for most. And erudite, this is quite new in the latest expansion, Conclave, I believe it was. erudite got added, and it's a learning trait with a church opinion bonus. We can choose an ambition, so become Paragon of Virtue. We need 500 piety, we need 1,000 prestige to become exalted among men, and we need a war chest of 700 ducats to achieve this, which only gives us a 2-year bonus. I think I'm going to go for become exalted among men. I'm also going to choose a focus, and I'm going to go for, I don't especially want extra family. I'd perhaps like, am I Agnag? Yeah, I'm Agnag, so I'd perhaps like a second son, but it may break up my realm. Which it shouldn't matter at this point because I'm a kingdom and I only hold one kingdom title, but we're going to have to try and get out of tribal and into feudal quite early so we can hold multiple kingdom titles. So I think we're going to actually go for war or martial. I think we're going to go for hunting because it gives us +2 martial, +1 health. Now health is a hidden attribute. Most characters start with a base of 5 health, and then their traits give them bonuses or malices. So Misguided Warrior gives us +0.5, this gives us +1, so we'd be on roughly 6.5. Probably on slightly less than that or slightly more. It's just quite random how it gives it out. It's usually around 5. We have our sun, and basically every year or so there's a random tick. It might be every month there's a tick, and there's a chance, depending on your age, your current health, and certain traits you have, like if you have an illness for example, that you may just die, and then your heir, who for me is my son, will replace you, dependent on your crown law and your succession law. So my son isn't very good. He's got 3 diplomacy, 10 martial, 7 stewardship, 13 intrigue, but 0 learning. Learning's the least useful stat, whereas diplomacy and I'd say diplomacy and intrigue are the 2 most important stats in the game. Martial's pretty important, but you'll often have your vassals leading armies instead of you. He's a flamboyant schemer, he's deceitful, lustful, wrath, and stubborn. He has a son, my grandson, who has conscientious and fussy, which are childhood traits, which you lose once gaining maturity. You can be educated, well, in the latest update you can actually be educated from birth when you choose a focus, but you stop being educated at the age of 16. And yeah, we're going to start off actually doing stuff. Or should I go through the council? Right, so this is the council. I think this first episode is just going to be going through the basics of the game, and then I actually did miss the Monday upload, unfortunately, so I think I'm going to do a double upload on the Tuesday morning. They'll probably both go up at the same time, so I hope you enjoy that. Apologies for missing the Monday one, I just didn't have time to record it. And yeah, so we'll go through all the menu stuff in this first episode, and then in the second episode we can get straight into the game. So your council is made up of people based on their stats and based on their positions. For example, powerful vassals, of which I have 3 vassals. I have 3 powerful vassals because they are powerful in relation to my other vassals. They will want places on your council. So, for example, this guy's quite good at intrigue, but he's not as good as my current spy master, so I don't want to put him there. And this guy is very good at being a steward. He's actually really good at being a diplomat, and I think we're going to put him ahead of that guy, and we'll find a new position for that one. Yeah, this guy is actually a really good court chaplain. So you have to kind of balance it out, and each one has 3 missions you can send them on. So I could send them to improve diplomatic relations, and you can see the percentage chances of that occurring there. I could fabricate claims, which is what I want to do, and I could also sow descent. So first of all, I want to check what claims do I have. I have claims all over this, so I can make tributary there. I don't really want to do that. Do I have a de jure claim? Yes, I do. I have de jure claims all over Scotland, or Pictland as it is called at this time, which means that I suppose fabricating claims isn't that important at the minute, so I'm going to improve relations with my powerful vassal. This guy, he's only got 5 opinion of me at the minute, because he's a title claimant. I'd also like to train troops, or should I'll organise a raid, because it gives us some extra soldiers. I'll also build us a legend. So these soldiers want to fight, these ones want to raid people. I'd like to send, at the very start, since I'm not as strong as I'd like to be, I'm going to get him to discover plots in the capital. And then this guy I am going to send to Rome to improve relations with the Pope. Mr. Popeman, as he is commonly called by players of Crusader Kings 2, or CK2. I'll probably refer to it as CK2 quite a lot. Minor titles, you can designate these titles to various people in your realm to give a bonus to opinion. I believe it's a lot lower than it used to be. Seneschal, I believe, used to be plus 15, it's now plus 10. These used to be plus 10 and now plus 5. Court Dwarf is actually quite a good one to get, but you can only give it to actual people with the trait Dwarf. The Council is a new thing. They're actually content with me at the minute. My Chancellor is very loyal to me. The 2 priests are zealots, so they prefer me to go on religious wars and do things that help the religion. And the other 2 are pragmatists, so they want what is best for the realm, really. They don't want us to be too aggressive, but they don't want us to be just sitting back. They'd like me to attack weak opponents, which I probably will do. I'll probably attack this guy, Strathclyde. Here is our succession, so titles are divided. Titles of the ruler are divided amongst his children, with the oldest getting the primary title. If the ruler has no children who can inherit, the law defaults to primogeniture, which passes to the oldest male. Well, I suppose it's just primogeniture, so the oldest child of that dynasty, basically. It'll go to his son, and then, or his children, and then his children's children, and if it can't do that, it'll work its way back up to his brother or sister, and then I'll work it down their family line, and then up, and then, yeah. So, you get no prestige penalty for having unlanded sons, which is good because I never give my sons land because they just leave the family and they mess everything up. You can have a 30% larger domain. It's like Demesne, but it's pronounced domain. I don't know why. Gavelkind is a very popular law with everyone except the oldest child. Destruction of titles while under Gavelkind succession is not allowed. Only males can inherit because of agnatic. So we can't actually change it. Once we're feudal, I may want to change it to Tanistry because that means only my family can inherit, and it's kind of elective. So it's very fun, that one. And it's, as I know, it's just Pictish or Scottish realms that can do that inheritance law. These are crown laws which you can change, or realm laws which you can change. So we could allow revocation of titles, things like that. Obligations, we can make them pay us more taxes or give us more troops. The council, there are no council laws because we haven't increased tribal obligations or organisation too much. Now I want to do this because let's just quickly go to the intrigue thing. To adopt feudalism we need absolute tribal organisation, and we also need a stone hill fort in Land of Fate, which is here. So let's get started on the Earth Hill Fort. That'll be the first thing we do. And then let's also increase tribal organisation. Can I do this? a lot of times. Oh no, I can only do it once because everyone was for it. Now everyone may not be for it. Right, technology doesn't really matter at this point in the game. It basically unlocks more buildings and gives you various boosts along the way. So like this one will give you plus 12.5 temple tax, which is quite nice. And you get various boosts from increasing it. This is our troops. We have 600 in odd at the minute. We have no retinues, we can't actually get one yet, we don't have enough retinue cap, and we have no boats. Boats aren't in action yet. You can hire mercenaries for various sums of gold. I have a font mod which actually works in Iron Man mode. And yeah, this is decisions, so you can promote commanders, invite holy men and nobles and debutantes. And yeah, so factions, we don't have any at the minute, and the Pope kind of likes me. So I think that's going to be the end of this first episode, guys. I will see you in the next episode. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, to get the series started, drop a like on the video, subscribe. We're trying to hit 15 subscribers by this Saturday coming up. If you can help me do that, I would be so thankful for it. So thank you guys for watching. From me, Catholicism 85, thank you for watching and goodbye.